we'll see. It's not important.
Madam Speaker, a number of lawmakers on the Republican side have been going to the border, have been going to a lot of these border facilities, and have been calling on you, as well as President Biden and Vice President Harris, to make these same trips. What's your response to that?
My schedule is not determined by the Republicans in the Congress of the United States. It never has been, nor is their schedule determined by me. I've been to the border many times. I've been to the Northern Triangle right up until close to the time of the COVID descending upon us. But I'm glad you brought up the border, because I do think that, and I commend my colleagues as well as the president for being solution-oriented there. The fact is that the Trump administration made a mess because they did not share the values of any respect for any of the people there. I've talked about the 3 R's. Go to the root cause. Go to the Northern Triangle, as the vice president is going to do. Go to the root cause. See what is there. When I was there with a delegation, what we saw, of course, confirmed what we knew. We suspected about violence, about corruption. What I didn't suspect until I got there was the impact of the climate crisis on the production of food and agriculture and occupations related to that were a source of migration to our country. Many of these people are coming here because they are hungry, And so we have to help there. And it didn't help that the previous administration, cut off the resources that were there for that region to meet the needs of people so that they could stay home. This is our hemisphere. Since we're neighbors, let's be friends, Mr. Rogers. And we could have done, for them to cut off those resources. I think we had a Cordell there when they cut it off. But in any event, that is now, USAID has resumed an initiative to be helpful there so that people stay home. That's root causes. The second R, reconstruct how we deal with this at the border. Again, the Trump people had it wrong. And it has to be, and in order to reconstruct, you have to deconstruct. You have to take down some of the things that they have done. And that means that we want to facilitate accommodating, whether it's children coming in so that they are not in the hands of as well-intentioned as the Border Control is, that's not what they're equipped to do. They can move quickly to OOR, which is the Health and Human Services auspices under which those children would come forth, and most people are being sent back. But you have to have a plan, and you have to have it one that it will work, and that's what is in the process. And then the third part, root causes, reconstruct. The third is refugees. We have a moral responsibility in the world, as every other country does too, to receive refugees who have a well-founded fear of persecution or harm to return to their own country. As I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, when we had a hearing, when the former president did the Muslim ban 4 years ago, like a month ago. We had a hearing. We were not the majority. It had to be an informal hearing. And the people who came to that hearing were our national security advisors, military people came and said, you have to respect refugees. We make promises to people in other countries that if we help them, that we will help keep them safe so they don't pay a price for helping us. That's going to be useful in terms of Afghanistan, in fact, but in terms of the border. So secondly, the diplomats, as you may recall, 1,000 diplomats signed a letter objecting to what the president had done because it would affect so many refugees. And this is my closer, the American Association of Evangelicals They spoke out about refugees. And they said the United States resettlement program of refugees is the crown jewel of American humanitarianism. So we have to recognize our moral responsibility as we see other countries take in refugees and the rest. I think right now we have, well, it's a very few thousand, and we have to increase that number.
They're really showing themselves to do really well. Come on, man.